Everyone, this is Demia Avery with What You Do in Wilmington in partnership with ConnectCapeFear.com. I'm here with two wonderful guests today. We have Drew Smith and Kevin Oberman. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome, you guys.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us here.
No problem. They are with Copiers Plus. Can't wait to talk to them, guys. They have a lot to talk about, so we're just going to jump right into it. So why don't you guys just introduce yourselves and tell a little bit about what you do there. So I'm going to start with you, Drew, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. So I'm Drew Smith, part of Copiers Plus. I'm Director of Communications. I've held a few roles with my time at Copiers Plus. Been with the company since 2014 after graduating from UNCW. And it's a little unique for me versus Kevin because it's a family business. I'm the third generation, so my grandfather is actually the owner of the company and is still at the reins, per se. So I've been in the business pretty much my whole life, in the storage closets, playing around when I was a kid, sweeping the floors, playing around in the warehouse, all those things. But it's been an interesting evolution for me in learning how the actual business works. And now in the role that I am now, basically in charge of marketing and just internal and external communications.
Awesome. How about you, Kevin?
Yeah, I'm the Vice President of Sales for Copiers Plus. I've been with them about 7 years, actually, coming on an anniversary date this month, so to speak. So very excited for that. But been in the industry almost 30 years, maybe a little longer, but we'll say 30 for right now.
Okay, happy anniversary.
Thank you very much. It's a wonderful company to work for, and my gosh, they've treated me so well, and our customers as well. My responsibilities are for driving sales and continuing to keep our current customers happy, with making sure that our sales managers and our account managers have the proper tools and the education to be that trusted advisor and a subject matter expert, and also a resource to our current customers, along with our prospective customers that we would like to bring on as part of the family.
Awesome. So I wanted to do like a deep dive into the actual business, if you don't mind. Sure. So when I went onto the website, I do a lot of research. I'm very nosy, so I do a little deep dive. And I noticed it was broken down into like 3 different departments. So I'm going to take like one department at a time. So I had one department, they're in no particular order. So one department I had was digital solutions. And this is because I am clumsy. I do a lot of messing up. and I do a lot of oops. And I lose a lot of my documents and things like that. So if you could tell me a little bit more about, the digital solutions. Either one of you want to take that?
I'll let Kevin talk a little bit more about that.
Okay.
How much time do we have? That's a lot. So digital solutions, that can range in quite a variety of areas. But, basically for us, what we are able to offer our customers is cradle to grave on a document. How does a document get disseminated? Where does it need to go? Does it need to be archived and also retrieved at a future date to reference that document, which could be a very important document, such as a will or a mortgage agreement, an insurance policy, things of that nature. Could be HR files that are very beneficial and very important to an industry. Also keeping in that compliancy aspect as well to make sure that it's secure and it doesn't get in the wrong hands. So we do all of that through our technology corridor with Copiers Plus and the software solutions and also hardware solutions that we use. So big variety of areas there, whether it's a scanned image or a printed image, a faxed image, or even a copy image. People still make copies today, so we can actually help with that too. But long story short, it really just matters where the document needs to go and who needs to see it and what type of securities that need to be part of that workflow process. And so I could go into a long talk track on that, but we work very well with customers and companies' infrastructure that's already in place.
Okay.
So we really dovetail well with it. And from an integration perspective, our products play very nicely with what they may already have in place already. And it gives them just an added value and a security blanket on what they're currently doing.
Awesome. So if you're a oops person, if you're oops prone like me, Copiers Plus has your back.
That's
so
right.
make sure you go and check
That's
them
right.
out.
And I will say on that
Yeah.
end as well, ways that digital solutions also come into play, I think is a big piece of the security aspect. By implementing procedures that you may or may not have already had, like PIN codes or ID badges that you use to gain access to the equipment, that safeguards those documents that you're handling that are really important, like the mortgages and the personnel files, like those kind of things. You can set limitations as to who has access to what, and then you can also route those scanning procedures based upon the input that you provide on the back end, the IT side. So you can really go granular with it, but it also is a security tool that you can put in place to make sure that you're as compliant as you can be for whatever your industry's regulations may be, but also to bring that audit trail both on the print side and the anything leaving your organization via your office equipment. And that's just something that a lot of people aren't doing with a structured, managed plan.
Yeah. And you know what? And I hate to say this, because I thought it was just, before I did the research, I was like, okay, they just copy stuff. So I'm glad to know, no, this is a great information. No, I didn't know that. That's awesome. So the next thing I want to talk about is equipment management and maintenance. So if you guys want to take that as well?
Yeah, I can take that one. So, the way that we break it up is trying to get because I was responsible for the website, so trying to give avenues for the different people that may come onto the site. And one is that more traditional, style business that they have a copier or they want a copier and they want it serviced and they don't want to have to deal with it. So that traditional style where they have a need and they want it filled, that's kind of that avenue. We've been in business since 1985, and we use Kyocera as our main line. We're a premier dealer of Kyocera products.
Okay.
So basically what happens is we come in, do an assessment, find out what your needs are, and then we are able to put in a multifunction printer. Could be a desktop, could be a standalone, could be multiple devices, but it is able to be networked onto your network so that you can print and scan.
Okay.
And then we also have a service team that is able to be on call for you.
Right.
So when something happens, we're there. You call our number, 800-648-7081. You're going to get a live person, and you're going to be routed a technician, and they're going to work with you. And there's some things that we can do, remotely and over the phone to get you up and running faster. But also there's, toner that goes into the machine that gets the image onto the page.
Okay.
That's included in your service contract. There's drums, there's belts, there's all kinds of different things within the machine that you don't want to be on the hook for yourself. So that's where we come into play. We can work through our dealer through Kyocera and get parts more efficiently. And, we do this for a living, so it's something that we can manage, but we can give the customer through a lease a low monthly rate that they're responsible for. There's no hidden cost. This is what you're going to pay per month. We also can do purchases. We can do rentals, but for the typical deal that we do is mostly a lease where the service and the equipment is.
And you mentioned that, and I want to come back to that. But you mentioned something that was very important to me. I'm big on customer service. So you mentioned the whole thing about live agent. That is so important to me because I have this thing about when I need help or when I need assistance to calling a place and I have to hit press 1, press 2, press 3,
That's
press
right.
1 again, press 2, press 3. It makes such a difference to be able to contact you all's business and be able to speak to someone live to be able to assist me. So I want to thank you all for having that as a way to get in touch with you guys.
And I'd like to comment on that. I really appreciate you saying that because it is a big factor in servicing today. And I give all the credit to Bob Smith. That's one of the things I don't think a lot of people know. But this is a great platform to let our customers know and our prospective customers know that actually was really driven down by Bob Smith, your grandfather there in the company, founder and owner of the company, and that's actually what the Plus stands for in Copiers Plus. The Plus is that service.
Yes.
That's what we're offering, and I really appreciate that because I understand what you're coming from. I don't want to press 1, I don't want to press 2, I don't want to ask for a representative.
Yeah.
I want to speak with somebody that can help me.
Yes.
And we strive very hard to train our personnel. The customer service aspect of it comes first. And let's make sure that we're helping. They're calling us to solve a problem, and we spend a lot of time, a lot of resource to educate our folks when they do answer the phone or maybe an email or any type of correspondence that may come in to be able to provide assistance immediately. And that's extremely important. And that's the plus. That's what you get with Copiers Plus. We, family-owned business, but we're also large enough to compete with the conglomerates out there, and we do very well doing that, and we do it every day.
Yeah.
But we're a big advocate of flesh and a handshake. How are you? How are things going? And email's great, and all the other technologies are great, but there's something to be said about that
Yes.
one-on-one interaction.
Yes.
And I really appreciate all the way at the top of Copiers Plus to bestow that in the company. And that's a really, really big part of what we do. So thank you for bringing that up.
Oh, you're welcome.
Absolutely.
You're welcome. Now, the next thing, of course, is your printer services. So if either one of you want to take some of the actual services for printing that you all have.
So it's the way that we categorize it is it's called Managed Print Services, or MPS for short. And then we have a whole, division of our sales team. We have a director of MPS, and it's really to take a look at your whole organization's printing. So say you have a 25-person office. If we ask you, how many printers do you have? The answer that we usually get is not exactly the true number because there's going to be a few in a closet somewhere. There's going to be, a few that are just, hardwired into the computer. There's going to be some that somebody brought from home. And we kind of look at everything from a holistic kind of point of view. Because where there's a printer, there is a cost.
Right.
If you can't answer what file plus print plus OK equals for your organization, we can help. And we can come in and do our comprehensive study where we, over a span of a few weeks, go in and do the research and figure out what's where, what that cost is, how much excess toner you have on hand, what kind of ink or toner that you have that is barely compatible or isn't going to be compatible, or whatever the case may be. We can take all that into account. We can find out from the end users what they use their printers for, and then we can put together a plan and show exactly what you're spending, down to the file plus print equals for black and white and for color. And then we can start to strategize with you about what that should look like to match your organization. So one thing that we find a lot of times is, somebody's going to have this real big color printer in their office, and they don't do anything organizationally that would require color. But then there may be, nothing in marketing, or there's a black and white copier in marketing, or, whatever the case may be. There's all these different things that the cost to run this over here is astronomical, and it's not being utilized. And what it is over here is not matching the needs of the people within the organization. So it's a lot of fine-tuning, right-sizing, and then figuring out inkjets, desktop printers. Is it a good one, or is it one that's bought for $70 and then you're paying $300, every 3 months in ink? So that's the broad scale, but I'll let Kevin kind of speak to a little more in detail.
Yeah. I tell you, one of the Drew, you hit it right on the head, and there's so many different layers on our managed print services program. I will tell you that the way we do it, I think, is a big differentiation from a lot of companies that we compete against. And I don't want to share all the trade secrets on this, but we take a vested interest in actually what is in a facility or a company's infrastructure as far as printing goes, and that may include the copiers as well, multifunctional products. And in most cases, it's really unique that the copiers are under a contract, but the printers are normally unmanaged, and that's a very large cost that folks really don't track. And when we go in, we speak with maybe an owner of the company or a C-level person, CFO, CIO, CEO. So, hey, let us show you what we can come up with a consultative approach. And we may have a better mousetrap than what you're using now. Does that make sense? And in most cases, yeah, tell me more. And it's really a risk reward. The risk is all on us to do the assessment, because there's a cost to do that. And we do talk about that when we do it.
Right.
But the reward is that we want to make a hero out of the decision makers with that technology. And when you partner with a company like ours, Copiers Plus, that's what we do, and we do it very well, because we do exactly what Drew just mentioned, but we really break it down to exactly what applications they're using, how are they disseminating images across their network, what's important about it, is there a better way to do it, is there a more economical way to do it, and who wants to manage it. And I will tell you, for all the IT guys out there, they don't want to manage printers. That's why we're here. So let us do the heavy work on that, heavy lifting, and help with that process, because it's quite a task to take on. Makes more sense for a company like Copiers Plus to be able to manage that for them, and in most cases, it's a surplus brought back to the business based on how we do it. And they're normally more productive with how we set it up, and also the cost factor can come down quite a bit. So big advantage, and that's the risk reward. Risk is all on us to come in, and I will tell you that, and this may scare a lot of folks off, but I do want to get it out there. We do a lot of work to do this.
Yeah.
And when we're speaking with the owners of companies, we do ask for a non-disclosure agreement because of the work that we put in. We want to make sure that what we're doing for them is a service, a consultative service. Now, we don't like to consult for free, but that's the risk side of it. And when we have that conversation with the business owners, they understand 100% because they're on the reciprocal side of it. We don't, want to consult and give away information and not have an opportunity to do stuff. So we start with that, and we have a real conversation. It normally goes very well in how we approach it, because we want to be your partner, not a vendor. That's a big part of Copiers Plus. And once we engage with that, we uncover so many things that they weren't aware of.
Yeah.
And actually, it can be a little scary when we come down with our spreadsheet. We have a lot of them, and we sit down and we say, this is what we discovered. This is what you're currently paying from a monthly spend. It's kind of the verbiage we use. And this is what it could be. And normally it's like, I had no idea. And we're like, well, no, you don't, because it normally isn't managed like a copier would be managed. And then we co-author a solution together. It isn't just us coming in, here's what we came up with, and this is what you need to go with. No, we want the buy-in. this is what makes sense. Will this help your morale of the company? Will this help be productive? Does it make sense financially? And normally the financial piece isn't always the number one factor. How can we actually improve what we're doing here? And I love that. And when we finish up with it, we have a true partnership. And it's really, really fun when we can come down to the proposal side.
Yeah.
They already know what's on it because they helped draft it. And that's the buy-in that we do with our customers and prospective customers. It makes so much sense, and that gives that collaboration with us, with our prospects and customers. Works very well.
So you all are more service and solutions.
Absolutely.
I love that. I love that. So it's a service. It's a service. I love that. Okay.
And I will say that,
Yeah.
they're separate on the website, but it's an inclusive, all cumbersome approach.
Yeah.
Whether it's digital solutions, print management, MPS, or just, looking at copiers and service, we can do all of those at the same time. Like, you don't have to choose one or the other. We're constantly going to be looking for ways for you to be more productive in how you address office technology.
Yeah.
So it is a all-inclusive approach. It's just some things everybody's going to want,
Mm-hmm.
some things others going to want.
Yeah.
We can truly match it to what's needed. And then on the service side and the supply side, especially when you get into the MPS, multiple locations, multiple offices, multiple users, how you manage toner is important. And having the ability for us to track each device, what the toner levels are, having a mechanism in place to where it gets down to, say, 15%, 20, 25%, we are auto shipping toner out to the individual desk that device is on. There's no, intervention that's needed by the end user. It's just an automated process that we have, people tracking your equipment, seeing things that could arise before they do, that proactive approach to service and supply management. No longer is it going to be on the office manager to deal with, can I go to Staples.com and find a bundle so that, we can get a
You already
discount.
handled it. You've already signed seen the
Freeze
the
them
actual
up.
thing. Yeah.
Freeze up those, tense conversations between, employees wanting something new and this and that. There's a managed approach, and it's decided on from the top, and it kind of eliminates the in-between between the company and just allows us to manage for them a service that nobody really wants to do on their own in a business environment.
Now, I love that. I love the whole, you take on the frustration. You're the first man on the job, so I love that whole thing. Now, what I do want to get into, because you're the first man on the job, is something that I saw on your website that I absolutely love, the blog. The blog. And I saw different topics, and I said, I love that, because for a person like myself that may need help with certain things, may need information about certain things, I thought that was a great way for me to gain information when I need it. So I'm a big community type person. So for Copiers Plus, does the company, are you guys big on community? Do you guys do anything for the community?
Yes. So, we have 5 locations across the state.
Okay.
And there's several nonprofits in each location that we either donate service equipment or both to. So we leverage things that way. There's multiple things. I know we were involved in the YMCA, their annual campaign.
Okay.
We work locally with Kids Making It, Thalen Hall. So there's quite a bit, and each branch office geographically has those nonprofits that we're working with, and it's hard to be about service if you're not serving. So that is a key factor, and it's been since 1985. I mean, we didn't get to this point without going through things and needing a helping hand ourselves. So we understand that. I mean, we started using wooden boards to run copiers up into the back of a wagon. What are they called? The wagon cars? Station wagon. Yeah, showing my age here. But like before, we had a fleet of vehicles. So like we've grown, over the years. But we understand what that grind is like at the beginning, and especially for a nonprofit that doesn't have steady income and ways to necessarily grow at scale, that we can be a resource for. Now, it's not everything. We can't offer it for everything, but there are definitely opportunities that we've utilized to do what we do really well for them, but then also in terms of just monetary.
Love it.
Yeah, he's exactly right. The giving back to the community is extremely important. Not for Copiers Plus, I will tell you, and I'll share this. We do business plans each year with our salespeople, and they know I'm going to ask this question. And at the end of the business plan template that I give them, it's a template we use because you got to know where you're going.
Yeah.
And I always ask, what community involvement are you doing? What are you doing to give back to the community? Because we want to show, but we want to do it generous out of our heart to give back to the community, whether it's a civic group or what are you doing with your church, or and we have a lot of our sales folks and also people that are employed at Copiers Plus are in a Kiwanis or a Rotary type of club, but they're involved. But not only with that, but maybe with their church. They may be on the deacon board or a trustee board. That's what But there's so many different ways that you can give back, and I think that's extremely important, especially with what we do and what we believe here at Copiers Plus. It isn't just we want to push equipment out the door and write these wonderful contracts that we do, but we also want to be a pillar of the community as well. Absolutely. And Drew, you're exactly right. We do so many different things. We work with a lot of different .org groups, and it makes a big impact, because it's something that I believe that is essential to continue to grow in your community and the business, but also be there to support the community as well. Absolutely. That is actually on our business plan. And they know it's coming every year, so tell me what you've done. But we already know what they do because we talk about it quite a bit, and that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And I will say that also part of that is the local investment that we have just as a company. We are visible within the areas we serve. We are spending money to make sure that people know who we are. We're advertising, we're sponsoring teams, we're doing those things because we aren't managed in Palo Alto or wherever else.
Yeah.
Like we make decisions in North Carolina, and our salespeople, they have a territory. They run that as a small business. Like that is their area that they serve. So they want to make sure that the people in their community are served well, that they're heard, and to put a face to the name. So hopefully, if you haven't heard of Copiers Plus, you will.
You will today.
That's right.
Today. But
put us to work.
There's a difference between a large conglomerate putting an ad in a program or whatever it is. But when we do it, it's because we care about the people involved. Because it is a much bigger ask for us to do it, but we care about where we're at. We're not all over the country. We're in North Carolina. We're in Wilmington. We're in Fayetteville. We're in Greensboro. We're in Raleigh and Asheville. And we're in all the areas in between because we strategically can help them, and we can put a family type atmosphere and commitment to service to them that the national brands just can't do at scale in local communities.
Well, I think I heard Kevin say it was a family-owned business, right?
That's right.
Yeah, it makes such a difference. It really does when it starts that way, because it keeps it a tight-knit feel to everything. You know what I mean? So yeah, I love that. Now I want to make sure, because you all gave us a lot of information, and I want to make sure that you give our viewers everything that you all want to put out there. Is there anything that we missed today? Because I want to make sure that you give them everything that they need to know about Copiers Plus. Is there anything else that you want to share?
I'll talk about one initiative that we have specifically for new businesses, and I know that there may be some watching now, and you're kind of wondering, okay, how do I even qualify for a lease? I haven't been in business long enough to do that. What are the options available for me other than the big box store or Amazon or whatever? There's still options, and we have something called the New Business Plan specifically for that use. And basically what it is we allow up to a year of a low monthly rate, just like a lease would be without the long-term commitment, so that while you're building your business up and getting that credit worthiness, you're able to take the benefits of structured, organized office equipment and office technology, ink, toner, all those things covered, service covered. And basically the plan is that at the end of that agreement that you could then transition into a lease with new equipment at a very similar price range. And that's something that isn't really done in the industry, but it's something that's needed because a lot of times what happens is people start with a store-bought device, and then they grow with more store-bought devices, and they go down this rabbit trail, and that's why the NPS comes into play so often, is because that's how they were grown. Like maybe they add a copier, but they keep all the other stuff, and then they have a supply closet that's filled with stuff, and over the time they're spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars because of no managed process. So offering, that service is not profitable necessarily for us, but it is a way for new businesses to get acquainted with Copiers Plus, and for us to give them a helping hand and hopefully grow together as they grow. Because when you're starting a business, you don't need to be worrying about, can you print the stuff off? Do you have to run to Staples or Office Depot to get copies made? Do you have to find some, print shop to do something? You need to be able to have flexibility, and you need to focus on what you need to grow. Right. So that's something that we have in our arsenal and available for customers all across North Carolina.
Love it. Awesome. All right.
Yeah, I'd just like to elaborate a little bit, because I'm going to go back to what you said earlier. I don't want to press 1 for this or press 2 for that. So with this program, it actually helps because you still get the same benefits as if you did a traditional commercial lease. Mm-hmm. So our new business program and our lease program, as far as the service and supplies go, you don't see any difference. You're getting the exact same level of service that we offer with commercial leasing that we do in our new business program. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to worry about when that you buy a printer off of Amazon or a box store, it shows up at your door. Okay, I've got to unbox it. I've got to set it up. I've got to connect it to the web. How do I do this? Yeah, we do all that for you, because it takes that frustration out and allows you to focus on what you're trying to accomplish from maybe a startup business or a new business, and let us handle all the heavy lifting on that. Yeah. That's why we're here, because we know how to do all that stuff, and we can make sure it works properly and get where it needs to go. And at the point where it is time to upgrade from the new business program we have to more of a larger, maybe a machine that can handle more volume as employees continue to grow within that company. We've already have a starting point, and you're like, you know what? Just call Copiers Plus. They get what we do. They're the experts, subject matter experts. They're the resource, trusted advisor, all those things. But it's true because at the end of the day, you have a business to run, and the last thing you want to do is sit there on hold forever
Oh my
waiting for
gosh.
somebody that can't help you. So that's all part of our program. Makes a lot of sense.
Make it easier on
That's
you.
right.
Because I don't have the time.
That's right.
Have the time. So make it easier on me. You know what? Make sure you give everybody the website address. If you have any social media handles, make sure you shout them out for me.
Yep. So go to copiers-plus.com. So copiers-plus.com. You'll have all the contact information, social channels there. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the things. But there's multiple forms you can fill out, but you can request an appointment through there. Just mention the new business plan if that's something you're interested in. You can contact me directly, Drew at copiers-plus.com, and then our phone number 800-648-7081.
All right, guys. So that is it for today's podcast. I want to thank Drew and thank Kevin for coming out today. And that is going to be it for our show today. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.